For this task, Scouts are asked to save all of the pennies they collect over the course of a month. The task promotes savings, but it also seemed a little discouraging because I was pretty sure that pennies don't really add up very quickly, so I decided to amplify the task. I collected all the change from one month, not just the pennies. I used only paper money for all purchases instead of paying with a debit card or using coins with my cash, and this meant I'd be acquiring as much coinage as possible. Over the course of the month, I made purchases on only 22 days, but I really wanted to give this task as much of a fighting chance as possible. So in addition to the results for those 22 days in the actual calendar month, I added 9 more days worth of purchases to come to a full 31 days worth of change. In other words, we're looking at a full month's worth of purchases. So how'd it go? Well, the task yielded 12 nickels, 43 dimes, 53 quarters, and as for pennies, there were 68. The grand total of all coins saved over 31 days of actual purchases came to $18.83. So what's all that heavy metal really going to buy us? Well, let's think about all that shiny copper alloy first, if only because that's what Scouts are actually tasked with saving. I think we all know that 68 cents doesn't go very far. I'm not sure I could find a place in this town to buy a cup of coffee for 68 cents. And let me note that people clearly don't even want to deal with pennies. If they were perceived as having any real worth, we wouldn't see all those take a penny, leave a penny things at checkout counters. 3 times I should have gotten pennies in my change, but the cashier rounded my change up to the next 5 cents, just so he or she wouldn't have to deal with it. I took a walk through the supermarket for ways to spend the money. A glance at the checkout counter shows that we could buy a candy bar, but that would pretty much blow through our savings. A walk down the dollar aisle showed that things there really are, in fact, $1, so that was out too. We could buy a can of corn or hominy, but forget peas or green beans, they're too expensive. But if I needed an emergency meal, and I mean emergency, I could buy a couple of bananas or an orange for 25 cents. I could head over to the soup aisle and buy 2 packets of ramen noodles. And that would eat up my money, but my stomach would be full for a few hours. And listen, I already know what's in a flavoring packet for those noodles, so no angry email on that. Believe it or not, I worked for the company that makes this stuff one summer in college. And I went back to school that fall with cases of noodles in tow, which I got at a discount, by the way. And at the end of every month, when I was really counting pennies, ramen helped me stretch $1 like nobody's business. Anyway, that's about it for pennies. But what happens when we look at all of the month's change, $18.83? We could most definitely put together a great pasta dinner on that, complete with meat sauce, salad, and even a bottle of inexpensive wine. We might even have some change left over. If you had to stretch those dollars over several meals, you'd have to skip the wine, stretch the meat. I'd buy some rice and beans, an onion for flavor, and more inexpensive fruit and greens. And this task made me think about necessities. It made me think about food. There have been years when I've had to stretch $1 long and hard, but I have never known true lasting hunger. Never. I am so blessed. In 2010, 925 million people across the globe lived with hunger daily. And that is 3 times the population of the United States. And right here, in the richest nation in the world, 1 in 5 children is living in poverty. Right now, the poverty rate is at the highest level since 1994. Families are deciding every day how to spend what little money they have. Forget about healthcare, forget about everything except the most immediate needs, food and shelter. Even clothing comes in a distant third. Because the Scouts are so wise, there are tasks for other badges which require real action to help serve those who are hungry and those in need. And that work is coming over the course of this project. But for now, it's true food for thought the next time we have 68 cents in the palm of our hands.